Hi YouTube, I'm back with part 4 of my religion and ethics video series, I guess it'll be a series, I don't know. Depends on how I feel and how much info I want to put out there and ideas, opinions. But so to start off with, in case you're wondering about like my makeup or have comments about that, negative or positive, I've always been a little bit of a tomboy and not much into makeup, so you know, kind of staying away from anything girly or cutesy or pink, and I'm just now beginning to like embrace my girly side and start wearing a little bit of makeup. So I'm beginning to experiment with makeup, and I say experiment because some days it actually turns out okay, it turns out nice, and I'm like, oh cool. And then other days, it kind of looks like a 5-year-old getting into their mom's makeup, and I think that's kind of the look I'm going for today. But anyway, I think it's okay. I'm a little critical of it, but it'll work. Whatever. I'm not going anywhere today, so. And if you're wondering about my t-shirt, yes, confession, I am a twihard, and I'm a little bit nerdy, and if you don't like it, I don't give a flying fuck. It's an interesting expression, flying fuck. It sounds interesting and very exciting. It may be referencing like the Mile High Club, or maybe like Aladdin and Jasmine on the flying carpet, which is kind of perverted. Bad way of thinking. But anyway, so part 4 of my series of videos about religion and ethics. Sorry, I'm adjusting my computer because it never wants to just sit just right on the bed. Okay, so I wanted to talk some more about the abortion issue, and I know this is kind of like stretching it out and everything else, and there's other things I could talk about, and I probably will, but I try to be an open-minded person and try and see different sides of things. I do have strong beliefs and strong opinions about certain things, and there are things that I just feel are black and white, you know, right and wrong, and so forth. Whereas, you know, I do accept that there are gray areas with some things. So I try to be open-minded and accept that there are other ideas and opinions out there, and just in doing so, I tried to look up like some pro-choice stuff just to be like well-rounded and stuff, and not a good situation, not a good experience, because I am pro-life, and even though I try to be open-minded, some of the things that I heard and saw, like on videos on YouTube and such, it was just disturbing to me for various reasons, both the pro-choice and pro-life videos, and things that people had to say about both sides of the spectrum. And so I don't know which I should start with. I guess I'll start with pro-choice, maybe. Yeah, pro-choice. And I don't know, with pro-choice, I see something that bothers me, which is the use of the word fetus. Now, granted, I've worked in the medical field before. I realize that it's a medical term for an unborn infant in utero. So fetus is not a voodoo bad word. it is a medically acceptable word for an unborn baby. However, I do have a problem with the word in the sense that I feel like it's used in a way to kind of discredit a baby, an unborn baby, as being a human being, as being human, as being viable or whatever. And and here's another thing, viable. A lot of times people on the pro-choice side of the argument say, oh, well, it's not, it's a fetus because it's not a viable human being. Well, yes, it is viable. Not outside the womb necessarily, until I believe it's 34 weeks of pregnancy. And depending on the medical equipment and resources available, a baby cannot survive outside the mother, outside the womb. But it's viable in the sense of being a human being, because at the very least, at the very earliest, or the very latest, at the very least from 8 to 10 weeks, I believe it is when they can pick up a heartbeat. That's not to say that the heartbeat doesn't exist sooner than that, but that's about the time that, with Dopplers, they can pick up a heartbeat of a growing baby. So I believe that at the very least, from the time that you can pick up a heartbeat, that is a human being. Plain and simple. Granted, like I said in a previous video, it looks weird. It doesn't look like what you would think of as a baby, but it's still a baby. It's a baby in process, or in progress. So it's a baby. And it has a heartbeat. And so at the very least, from that point on, it's a baby. But I feel like the term fetus is used in a way to take away from that. And I feel like it's also used in a way to take away from any guilt that someone might feel in regards to being pro-choice or to having an abortion. So I kind of have a problem with that term. And with the term viable. And I've heard, and this is one that really bugs me, pro-choicers referring to a growing baby as a parasite. No. Oh, that one really bothers me, because a parasite is a tapeworm. A parasite is, any number of things, but a parasite is not a baby. Granted, there are situations with RH compatibility and so forth, in which the immune system will attack the growing baby. And in many cases of miscarriage, it's a situation where the chromosomes or whatever are not compatible with being able to grow into a healthy baby. But it is in no way a parasite. It's a baby. So that one, more than anything, bugs me. I don't like the term fetus, but I especially don't like people comparing a baby, a growing unborn baby, to a parasite. That one really bothers me. On the flip side, if we're talking about pro-choice, pro-lifers, there's some things that bother me. And in the past, yes, I've always been passionate about being pro-life. But in the past, maybe I kind of was more on the fringe, or fanatical, I guess you could say, about being pro-life. I've participated in protests, pro-life protests and sign holdings and things like that before, at least a couple of times, and mostly when I was younger. And I would still do that today. If you said we're having a pro-life protest, such and such place, I'll be okay, what time? Because that's how I feel. But I used to get more upset and adamant with people about this thing, and it maybe not be as open-minded. That's not to say that my stance on this has changed any, but I try and keep it in perspective more now. And I see that there are some people out there that kind of put pro-lifers in a bad light because they take such a harsh, critical, almost hateful stance on things that it kind of makes all pro-lifers seem like fanatics and crazies and mean-spirited people, and that's just not the case. And like I said before, I speak from my own experience because I've been a little bit more like that in the past, where I've taken a harsher approach on this and not been as open-minded. But there's a saying, don't be so open-minded that you let your brains fall out. And another saying, I don't even know where these sayings come from. There's another saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So as far as being open-minded is concerned, I'm open-minded to a certain degree, but yeah, I do have things that I have a backbone about and take a strong stand on. So I think I'm going to have to make another video because this one's getting long, but I'll continue talking about this topic. And my stomach is growling. Yay, it's lunchtime. Anyway, so any comments that you have will be accepted. Just don't get too nasty with them. I don't have much of a filter myself, so I won't be overly judgmental, whether you agree with me or not. But just, try to keep things in perspective, I guess. And don't be too overly offensive to me or anyone else posting comments. But go ahead and speak your mind, and I will try not to get in too much of a debate with someone, but I'm not afraid to debate or to bring up my ideas or opinions. I just don't want to get into a real big tongue lashing with someone who's not going to change their mind and not going to listen to my opinion anyway, because that's just a fucking waste of time, and I'm not going to do that. But any comments are welcome. So bye, and I'll follow up with another video.